Telemachus versus Antinous. Every fight explained. The Odyssey. Warning: this video contains major spoilers for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. One of the most compelling rivalries in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey isn't between Odysseus and Poseidon. It's the growing conflict between Telemachus, the rightful prince of Ithaca, and Antinous, the most powerful and ruthless of Penelope's suitors. Their rivalry begins long before swords are drawn. In fact, every confrontation between them tells the story of a frightened young prince slowly becoming a fearless future king. Let's break down every major clash between Telemachus and Antinous and why their final battle is one of the movie's most satisfying moments. At the beginning of the film, Telemachus is completely outmatched. For nearly 20 years, everyone has believed Odysseus is dead. With no king on the throne, dozens of powerful nobles move into the royal palace, eating the kingdom's food, spending its wealth, and pressuring Queen Penelope to choose a new husband. Leading them all is Antinous. Unlike many of the other suitors, Antinous isn't simply impatient. He's ambitious. He believes the throne already belongs to him. To achieve that goal, he constantly humiliates Telemachus, treating him as an obstacle rather than the rightful heir to Ithaca. Every insult is calculated. Every challenge is meant to remind the young prince that he has no real authority. At this stage, Telemachus can do very little. He has courage, but he lacks confidence. He wants to defend his mother and his home, yet he knows he cannot defeat dozens of armed nobles on his own. Antinous understands this perfectly. He rules through fear. He assumes that if Telemachus feels powerless long enough, he'll eventually give up. But Antinous makes one critical mistake. He underestimates Telemachus. While the suitors grow more arrogant, Telemachus begins to change. Guided by Athena, he leaves Ithaca to search for answers about his missing father. During his journey, he meets kings and veterans of the Trojan War who teach him about leadership, patience, and responsibility. When he finally returns home, something is different. He's no longer the uncertain boy Antinous remembers. He's calmer, more observant, more determined. Instead of reacting emotionally to Antinous' insults, Telemachus begins thinking strategically, just like his father. This shift completely changes the balance between them. The next major confrontation comes after Odysseus secretly returns to Ithaca, disguised as a beggar. Neither Antinous nor the other suitors recognize the king standing before them, but Telemachus does. Father and son reunite in secret and begin planning how to reclaim the palace. For the first time, Telemachus isn't standing alone. He has Odysseus beside him. Even so, Odysseus doesn't simply fight the battle himself. He trusts Telemachus with an equal role in the plan. Together, they hide weapons, secure loyal allies, and patiently wait for the perfect opportunity. That opportunity arrives during the famous contest of Odysseus' bow. Penelope announces that whoever can string the legendary bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads will win her hand in marriage. One by one, the suitors try, none succeed. Even Antinous, despite all his confidence, cannot string the bow. The weapon that once belonged to Ithaca's greatest king refuses to recognize a pretender. Then the mysterious beggar asks for a chance. The room erupts with laughter. Antinous mocks him, believing an old beggar has no chance of succeeding where seasoned warriors have failed. But within seconds, everything changes. The beggar effortlessly strings the bow. The palace falls silent. Then comes the moment that changes Ithaca forever. Odysseus reveals his true identity. Before the stunned suitors can react, he releases the first arrow. In Homer's epic, that first arrow strikes Antinous, ending his life before he even understands what is happening. Christopher Nolan stages the confrontation with even greater emotional weight. The arrogant man who spent years terrorizing Ithaca suddenly realizes the true king has returned. Panic replaces confidence. The hunter becomes the hunted. As chaos erupts inside the Great Hall, Telemachus finally confronts the men who stole his childhood. This isn't simply another fight. It's the moment Telemachus proves he has become the warrior Athena believed he could be. Instead of hiding behind his father, he fights beside him. Every strike demonstrates how much he has grown. The frightened prince who once endured Antinous' insults is gone. Standing in his place is the future king of Ithaca. What makes this battle so satisfying isn't just the action, it's the emotional payoff. For years, Antinous believed power came from intimidation. He thought wealth, influence, and fear made him untouchable. Telemachus proves otherwise. Real leadership isn't about forcing people to obey. It's about protecting them. Throughout the film, Antinous represents greed, arrogance, and corruption. Telemachus represents hope, honor, and responsibility. Their conflict isn't merely between two men. It's a battle between two very different visions for Ithaca's future. If Antinous wins, the kingdom falls into tyranny. If Telemachus wins, Ithaca finally has the chance to heal. That's why their rivalry feels so personal. It's about much more than a throne. It's about the kind of kingdom Ithaca deserves. By the end of the battle, Antinous' reign of fear is over. The palace belongs once again to the house of Odysseus. More importantly, Telemachus earns something no one can simply inherit: respect, not because he is the king's son, but because he proved himself worthy of becoming Ithaca's next king. Christopher Nolan uses this rivalry to tell a powerful coming-of-age story. The greatest victory isn't defeating your enemy. It's becoming someone your enemy never believed you could become. And that's exactly why the battle between Telemachus and Antinous is one of the emotional highlights of the Odyssey. So, who do you think was the better character, Telemachus, the young prince who rose to become a true leader, or Antinous, whose ambition ultimately became his downfall? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more The Odyssey Explained videos, Greek mythology breakdowns, hidden details, and Christopher Nolan analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.